The NRL just tried to change rugby league as we know it, and two of the game's biggest coaches told them exactly where to shove it. Michael Maguire and Ivan Cleary have drawn a line in the sand, and what happened next has the entire competition on the edge of an all-out war with head office. Before we get into this absolute mess, smash that subscribe button and hit the bell, because this story's developing faster than a Nathan Cleary try assist, and you don't want to miss what happens next. Let's go. Right, so here's the situation, and trust me, it gets spicy. The NRL brass walked into a room full of coaches and club bosses with what they thought was a brilliant idea: completely reimagine the kickoff. Not a little tweak here or there, mate. We're talking a full-blown American-style overhaul that would fundamentally change how the game starts after every try and every half. And the clubs? They looked at each other, looked back at headquarters, and basically said, yeah, nah. Now, Michael Maguire, fresh off coaching Queensland to a State of Origin series win and now leading the Blues, wasn't having a bar of it. This is a bloke who's built his entire coaching philosophy around physicality, intensity, and that brutal opening contact that sets the tone for 80 minutes. You want to tell Madge that his forward pack can't smash into a kickoff return like a freight train? Good luck with that conversation. Ivan Cleary, the master tactician who's turned Penrith into a dynasty with 4 straight premierships, saw straight through it too. Cleary's not just some old-school dinosaur afraid of change. This is a man who's revolutionised attacking structures and defensive systems, but even he could see this proposal was cooked. Here's what makes this absolutely wild: the leaked email. Yes, someone at one of the 17 clubs decided the Australian public needed to know just how tense these discussions had become. And when I say tense, I mean head office versus literally everyone else. The email revealed that executives were pushing hard for this change, talking up player safety and modernising the game, while coaches were firing back saying, mate, you're trying to fix something that isn't broken. The proposed rule would have essentially eliminated the traditional kickoff contest. You know, that moment after a try when the crowd's still buzzing, the kicker boots it deep, and everyone holds their breath as the fullback catches it and the defensive line charges up? That controlled chaos that can shift momentum in an instant? Gone. Replaced with something that apparently looked more like a structured NFL kickoff, where players line up in predetermined positions, and the whole thing becomes, well, boring. And here's where it gets even better. Clubs didn't just quietly vote no behind closed doors, they went public with their rejection. That's the equivalent of your teenager not just ignoring your new house rule, but taking out a full-page ad in the newspaper explaining why your idea is terrible. It's absolutely savage, and it speaks to how strongly they feel about this. The front rowers are particularly dirty about it. These blokes spend their entire careers perfecting the art of the collision, getting their timing right, building that explosive power. Prop forwards aren't exactly known for their diplomacy, and when they heard about potentially neutering the kickoff contest, let's just say the language probably wasn't suitable for family viewing. But here's the thing that's really got everyone talking. This isn't actually about the kickoff rule at all. Not really. This is about power. This is about whether the people who actually coach the game, who study it for 12 hours a day, who live and breathe rugby league, actually have any real say in how it evolves, or whether head office can just hand down edicts from their fancy offices and expect everyone to fall in line like good little soldiers. Maguire and Cleary leading the charge against this makes perfect sense when you think about it. These aren't young coaches trying to make their names for themselves by going along with whatever management wants. Madge has won a premiership with South Sydney and took New Zealand to World Cup glory. Cleary's sitting on 4 consecutive rings and has established himself as arguably the greatest club coach of the modern era. When blokes with those credentials tell you your idea's garbage, you might want to listen. The timing couldn't be worse for the NRL either.
We're weeks away from the season kicking off, the actual season with actual games, not just these theoretical discussions. Clubs have spent the entire pre-season preparing under one set of rules. Players have trained for specific situations, and now there's this massive uncertainty hanging over everything. Coaches are trying to finalise game plans while simultaneously not knowing if the fundamental structure of the game might change.
And you want to know the most Australian thing about this whole saga? The compromise talks. Because of course there are compromise talks. We can't just have a clean win or loss. We need to find some middle ground that makes nobody happy, but at least stops everyone from taking each other to court. There's whispers about potential safety-focused tweaks that might happen down the line, which is corporate speak for we're going to wait until everyone calms down and then try to sneak something through later. The broader rugby league community is watching this unfold like it's better than State of Origin. You've got former players weighing in, media personalities choosing sides, fans lighting up social media with their takes. It's become this massive referendum on what rugby league should be, a collision sport where physicality reigns supreme, or something softer, safer, more palatable to nervous executives worried about litigation. Look, player safety matters, nobody's arguing against that. Concussions are serious, long-term health issues are real, and the game needs to evolve responsibly. But there's a difference between thoughtful evolution based on medical evidence and consultation versus wholesale changes that fundamentally alter what makes rugby league special. The clubs have basically told the NRL, we're not lab rats for your experimental rules. You want to change the game? Fine, but you better have overwhelming evidence it's necessary, you better consult properly, and you better be ready for pushback if your proposal doesn't stack up. So, where does this leave us? The kickoff rule change is dead in the water for now. Clubs have flexed their collective muscle, and Maguire and Cleary have cemented themselves as leaders, willing to stand up to head office. But this fight isn't over, not by a long shot. The battle lines have been drawn, and next time the NRL wants to make a major change, they'll think twice before trying to railroad it through. What do you reckon? Should the NRL have backed down, or are clubs being too resistant to change? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe to Across the NRL for all the latest drama, controversy, and everything else happening in rugby league. I'll catch you in the next one.